Lewis Hamilton's rise to the pinnacle of Formula One isn't just a narrative of grit and speed, it's underscored by statistics that dazzle even the most casual observer. As of early 2026, Hamilton holds 7 World Drivers' Championships, tying him with Michael Schumacher for the most titles in F1 history. He's the all-time record holder for Grand Prix wins, recently shattering the 110 win barrier, a mark that seemed unbreakable barely a decade ago. He boasts the highest number of pole positions, over 105, and has led more than 6,500 laps in his career, statistical proof of decades of dominance. Beyond the track numbers, Hamilton has stood on the podium over 195 times, more than any other driver in history. He's completed over 350 race starts, consistently finishing in points-paying positions at rates that defy probability. His win percentage hovers around 30%, meaning roughly 1 in every 3 races he enters, he wins. His Instagram and Twitter followings top well over 40 million combined, with millions more engaging with his advocacy on issues like diversity, environmentalism, and animal rights. Few athletes are as globally recognized. Forbes consistently ranks him among the world's highest-paid sports personalities, with sponsorship deals spanning Tommy Hilfiger, Monster Energy, and even collaborations with Mercedes on electric cars. His estimated net worth exceeds 300 million USD, making him not just Britain's richest sportsman but one of the wealthiest athletes globally. Streaming platforms have joined the Hamilton hype. His guest DJ sets, eco-travel documentaries, and even vegan cooking segments have brought new faces into the F1 fanbase. Just as Bad Bunny's streaming numbers tell of a musical revolution, Hamilton's reach is evidence of a sporting evolution as much lifestyle icon as athlete. His YouTube appearances rack up millions of views, and his TED Talks on diversity and sustainability have been watched by audiences far beyond racing circles. A legacy longer than any circuit. Even before his latest epic season, Lewis's legacy was fully cemented. Picture an athlete who transcends his field, a name that resonates far beyond the grandstands or the garages. That's Hamilton. He's fundamentally altered the perception of F1, breaking down stereotypes about who belongs in motorsport and reshaping the very idea of a racing superstar. Long before he became Britain's most successful driver, before statues, street names, and his eventual knighthood, Lewis was already inspiring kids in places where dreams like his once felt impossible. Now, to millions of fans, he's more than just a racing driver. He's a symbol of perseverance, justice, and the power of dreaming big. If Hamilton were to step away tomorrow, his impact would echo for generations. He opened doors for diverse talent, forced the racing establishment to confront its past, and made motorsport matter to people who never cared for engines or aerodynamics. But he isn't done yet. Every time he straps into the cockpit, he writes another chapter. His influence extends to the business side of racing. Team principals now actively recruit diverse engineers and mechanics, knowing that Hamilton's success proved talent exists everywhere if you're willing to look. Racing academies have sprung up in underserved communities across Britain, Africa, and South America, all citing Hamilton as inspiration. The sports television ratings have soared among younger demographics and minority audiences who finally see someone who looks like them competing at the highest level. The taste of home, food, family, and authenticity. Despite decades spent jet-setting, Hamilton's favorite foods remain close to his roots. Few know that his culinary comfort zone is distinctly Caribbean, think Jamaican ackee and saltfish, or Trinidadian roti and callaloo, all lovingly prepared by his Grenadian-born father or his stepmother in family gatherings. He's a proud vegan, having made the shift in 2017. For Lewis, plant-based food isn't a passing fad, it's a statement about his health, the planet, and his values. Even as he dines at Monaco's swankiest restaurants or rubs shoulders with Hollywood royalty, Lewis craves the flavors of home, homemade carrot cake, spicy plantains, and the simple joy of a hearty Sunday meal with his family. This groundedness is his superpower. No matter how rarefied his career becomes, Hamilton's palate never strays too far from the recipes of his childhood. His transition to veganism wasn't just personal, it became a mission. He's spoken extensively about how cutting out animal products improved his recovery times, sharpened his mental clarity, and aligned with his environmental activism. He's documented trying to convince fellow drivers and mechanics to join him, sometimes cooking elaborate vegan meals in his Monaco apartment to prove the food can be both delicious and performance-enhancing. This dedication to his values, even when inconvenient or mocked by traditionalists, exemplifies the Hamilton approach to life: authentic, committed, and uncompromising. The humble beginnings, council estate dreams. Before red carpets, roaring crowds, or the world's fastest cars, Lewis Hamilton was a council estate kid in Stevenage, England. His father, Anthony, juggled multiple jobs: IT manager, dishwasher, sometimes even cleaner, just to fund his son's early passion for remote-control cars and karting. Money was tight, and the world of motorsport, notoriously expensive and exclusive, seemed galaxy far away. Imagine mornings spent helping his father fit tires in icy garages, afternoons weaving through supermarket aisles, searching for budget groceries after a karting weekend that stretched the family purse to the limit. There was no safety net, no family trust fund, only grit, a singular dream, and little Lewis learning that hard work and belief were the price of admission. In the paddock, they were outsiders. Hamilton's hair too curly for the establishment, his accent too working class, his skin color an anomaly in a sport still haunted by elements of elitism and legacy. Anthony Hamilton once worked 3 jobs simultaneously, sleeping just 4 hours a night to keep Lewis racing. He'd finish his IT shift, head to manual labor jobs, then spend weekends driving Lewis to circuits across England in a beat-up van that frequently broke down. They'd sleep in that van to save on hotel costs, waking before dawn to prepare the kart. Other families had motorhomes, professional mechanics, and spare equipment. The Hamiltons had determination and each other. But it's this journey from council housing to the top of the Formula racing world that makes Lewis Hamilton resonate so deeply with fans from every walk of life. When he talks about his roots, about the hunger of struggling to pay race fees, about being the only black face in a sea of white helmets, it's not PR spin, it's lived experience. This is the bedrock of his work ethic, his sense of justice, and his unshakable confidence. The revolution on and off the track. Hamilton's story isn't just about chasing lap records, it's about changing minds. When he burst onto the Formula 1 scene in 2007, rookie drivers simply did not behave the way he did. Not only did he outdrive veterans, he brought hip-hop swagger and authentic, irrepressible confidence into the paddock. His distinct style, diamond earrings, bold streetwear, and braids wasn't a marketing ploy. It was an announcement. The sport's face had changed, permanently. By 2021, his "Still I Rise" mantra, taken from Maya Angelou's poetry, adorned his helmet and his social feeds. Children waved his flag from Lagos to Liverpool. Brands scrambled to sign him not just as an athlete, but as a spokesperson for new, global generations. He's spoken passionately on racism and social justice, championing Black Lives Matter on podiums from Mugello to Silverstone. When others remained silent or stuck to sports, Lewis knelt on the starting grid, wore shirts with the names of police brutality victims, and called out the sport's lack of diversity. His efforts helped spawn the Hamilton Commission, an organization dedicated to breaking motorsport's barriers and diversifying the STEM pipeline. Just as Bad Bunny redefined what's possible in music, Lewis Hamilton turned the world's poshest sport into a vehicle for progress. No longer a playground for the privileged few, but an arena where talent, determination, and difference are assets. This isn't mere celebrity activism. For Lewis, it's a revolution. His activism cost him. Sponsors grew nervous, traditionalists called him divisive, and online trolls unleashed racist abuse. But Hamilton never wavered. He understood that his platform came with responsibility, that silence would be complicity, and that the next generation was watching. Every time he took a knee, every social media post calling out injustice, every interview where he refused to just talk about racing, these were calculated risks that redefined what athletes could and should do with their influence. Fascinating facts you probably didn't know. Lewis Hamilton's full name is Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton. He was born on the 7th of January 1985 in Stevenage, Hertfordshire, England, a Capricorn. He was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 2021, becoming Sir Lewis Hamilton, the only black driver to receive this honor in the history of motor racing. As a child, Hamilton's first race car was a remote-controlled model, and he spent hours practicing in parking lots. He won his first national RC championship at age 6. He is ambidextrous. He writes with his left hand and drives with his right foot. Lewis is an avid musician and has recorded tracks under the pseudonym XNDA, collaborating with Christina Aguilera on the song Pipe. He is a lifelong fan of Arsenal Football Club, often attending matches in North London disguise. Hamilton has his own line of vegan burgers, Neat Burger, with pop-up restaurants appearing all over the world. Fun fact, he voiced himself in Pixar's Cars 2, marking the first and only black F1 champion to appear in an animated major film as himself. Dogs are a key part of his life. His beloved bulldogs, Roscoe and the late Coco, had their own social media following, atop luxury pit lane living. He considers Ayrton Senna his greatest idol. Hamilton's helmet design pays tribute to Senna's iconic Brazilian colors. Known for his love of music and DJing, Hamilton has performed surprise sets at Monaco's world-famous nightclubs. He openly battles dyslexia, crediting his mother and early teachers for his resilience, but says it helps him think outside the box on race day. Lewis once owned a private jet, but sold it due to environmental concerns, now opting for commercial flights or carpooling with team members when possible. He has a fear of sharks but loves surfing, a contradiction he laughs about regularly. Hamilton designed a custom motorcycle collection with MV Agusta, blending his love of speed with Italian craftsmanship. He's fluent in English and conversational in Spanish and Portuguese, often surprising fans and media in their native languages. The taste of victory and of vulnerability. What sets Hamilton apart is not just his swagger or his speed, but his willingness to show vulnerability. He has talked candidly about mental health, about anxiety, depression, imposter syndrome, and the cost of living under a global spotlight. He meditates daily, practices yoga, and shares self-care tips with fans. For years, Hamilton was criticized for wearing his heart on his sleeve, for defying the stiff upper lip culture that once dominated the British sporting landscape. But it's this authenticity that's endeared him to millions, making him not a cardboard cutout superstar, but a relatable, human champion. In interviews, he's discussed feeling alone despite millions of followers, questioning his worth beyond racing, and struggling with the pressure of being a role model. These admissions, rare in elite sports, have normalized conversations about mental wellness in motorsport. Other drivers have since opened up about their own struggles, citing Hamilton's courage as permission to be honest. The racing mind, relentless innovation. Since his earliest days in karting, Hamilton has studied everything: telemetry, weather, tire compounds. His notebooks, filled with handwritten calculations, lap diagrams, and ideas for car setup, have become legendary among engineers. He's not just quick with a steering wheel, he's a full-spectrum competitor, immersing himself in the mechanical and strategic intricacies of racing. Colleagues say Hamilton's feel for a car is unique. During his year as Fernando Alonso's teammate, a famously fraught rivalry, Hamilton became notorious for extracting performance out of difficult setups, making split-second calls over race radio that changed the course of championships. To this day, Lewis liaises with engineers for hours after official debriefs, suggesting innovations, challenging assumptions, and pushing even Mercedes' best minds to think differently. He's a driver-engineer in the mold of the greats. His technical feedback has influenced car development across multiple seasons, with aerodynamicists and tire specialists specifically crediting his insights for breakthrough innovations. Musical rhythms, life beyond racing. Like Bad Bunny, Hamilton's creative life extends well beyond his primary field. He's composed and released music alongside global pop stars, dabbled in fashion design with his Tom X Lewis lines, and launched projects in film and environmental advocacy. Rumors swirl about a future run at music production or film direction. Expect Hamilton to defy expectations as always. Whether he's appearing in a music video for J. Cole, walking Paris Fashion Week runways, or launching a climate change campaign with Greta Thunberg, Hamilton's reach is limitless. He's proof that a racing driver can be as much artist as athlete. His fashion collaborations aren't vanity projects, they're extensions of his belief that self-expression matters, that style is substance, and that athletes shouldn't be confined to tracksuits and team gear. Triumphs, titles, and turning points. Key moments define the Hamilton arc. In 2008, less than 2 years after his rookie debut with McLaren, he became the sport's youngest ever world champion at the time, clinching victory in a wet, chaotic finale in Brazil. The images of Lewis and his father, tears streaming down their faces after losing and then miraculously regaining the championship in the final corners, are seared into F1 history. His move to Mercedes in 2013, once considered disastrous by pundits, proved a masterstroke. Hamilton rode the wave of the hybrid engine revolution, winning title after title, shattering Schumacher's records, and establishing what some call the greatest sporting dynasty since the Yankees. But triumphs come hand in hand with heartbreak. Crashes, controversial penalties, mechanical failures, narrow defeats. Hamilton's story is not one of unbroken victory. Each setback, however, has been fuel for comebacks. Every tough loss, from the infamous 2016 Abu Dhabi finale to split-second heartbreaks in Monaco, makes the championships feel even more earned. The 2021 season stands as perhaps the most dramatic championship battle in F1 history. Hamilton and Max Verstappen traded victories across an entire season, culminating in a controversial final race in Abu Dhabi, where a late safety car decision handed Verstappen the title on the final lap. The heartbreak was visible, yet Hamilton's grace in defeat, congratulating his rival, thanking his team, refusing to blame officials, publicly demonstrated championship character beyond trophies, changing the game for good. As Hamilton prepares for yet another season, his goals now stretch beyond lap times. He's become a vocal supporter of sustainable mobility, investing in electric racing with the Extreme E Series and pressuring Formula One to speed up its own net zero targets. He established the Hamilton Commission to investigate and uproot racial inequality in British motorsport. The result? New scholarships, internships, and a dramatic increase in visibility for Black and minority ethnic engineers entering the field. He's funded schools, donated millions to STEM programs, and opened discussions on discrimination, privilege, and accountability inside one of the world's most traditional institutions. To many, he's the sport's conscience, a trailblazer who made change mandatory. Looking ahead, the evolution continues. Fans buzz constantly about what comes next for Hamilton. Will he claim an unprecedented 8th world title? Will he retire on top, focus on activism and creativity, or reinvent himself again, perhaps even outside of racing? Speculation aside, there's unanimous agreement. Whatever Hamilton does, he'll do it his way, setting the tone for generations to follow. He said he wants to help more kids from council estates, like his younger self, to see a place for themselves in elite spaces, whether in racing garages, university labs, or creative studios. Cultural shifts and breaking barriers. Hamilton's Super Bowl moment. Imagine him as a global guest, helming a halftime show or delivering a powerful message, would symbolize how far motorsport's image has come. More than a driver, he's become an ambassador, capable of uniting disparate audiences and bridging long-standing divides. He brings together communities too often excluded from F1's glitz. Fans from working-class backgrounds, racialized communities, and entire continents who once saw the sport as foreign or unwelcoming. With Hamilton, F1 is cool, relevant, and global, a platform for fashion, music, social change, and hope, inspiring the next generation. Maybe there's a young Lewis out there now, fixing his RC car on a kitchen table, juggling odd jobs with a parent, dreaming of speed and escape. His hope doesn't rest solely on driving skill, but on the example set by Hamilton, who showed the world that anything is possible if you refuse to let others define your limits. For millions, Hamilton's greatest victory isn't at Monza, Suzuka, or Abu Dhabi. It's in the pride reflected in kids' eyes worldwide, inspired to believe they can own the future in whatever language they choose, on whatever circuit they choose to run. The road that never ends. From council estate struggles to F1 supremacy. From mechanical garages to metaverse DJ sets. From overlooked outsider to global superstar and activist. Hamilton's journey is still unfolding, a living reminder that legacy is written not just in records, but in how many lives you touch along the way. If you tune into racing, or music, or activism, and see Lewis Hamilton, know this: you're witnessing not only a champion, but a revolution. From Stevenage kitchens to the world's fastest laps, he's proven that anyone, absolutely anyone, can rewrite what's possible. The story rolls on, and its finish line is always moving. The greatest journey, after all, is just beginning.